everybody. Welcome to your later than build afternoon rabble, or I suppose it would be evening rabble, or is it early evening rabble? It's one of them. It's one of them. So hello, everybody. Welcome. My name's Martin. I am your host for this afternoon, evening, early. I'm your host for whatever this show is, and I am joined by Wilf, Brian, and Mark. Gentlemen, good afternoon, evening, early evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, we'll go with evening. Unless, of course, you're listening back to this like tomorrow morning, in which case, good morning. It just all depends on when you're listening back. So there was a bit of rumours flying about today about a possible manager announcement. The only announcement that we did get was that Stephen Smith will be 100% in the dugout for the game on Saturday against Dundee United. I'll get the guys' thoughts on that. But, Wolf, I think we'll start with the main news coming out of Rangers, which is that the deal for Kevin Muscat to be the next manager is about 94.5% there.
It's not done until there's photos of him with the scarf, preferably at Ibrox, although that's probably going to take a few weeks, I think, to get him over here, the way it sounds. I believe from something that David Edgar put on Heart and Hand half an hour ago, I think, that it's almost done, but there'll be probably no announcement tonight because, as he rightly points out, Shanghai Port have got a game tomorrow, 11 o'clock in the morning UK time. So I would imagine that'll probably mean by this time tomorrow it'll be announced. So I don't know when their game is after that, but it won't be straight after that. So I would imagine if it is going to be Kevin Muscat, and it looks very much like it's going to be him, it'll be announced after Shanghai Port's game tomorrow. So you're probably talking mid-afternoon tomorrow.
What I will say is that tweet that Will's talking about from David Edgar over at Heart and Hand is things progressing smoothly, details being sorted out, including backroom staff and UEFA dispensation as he qualified outside of Europe. Vibes from all parties good, but not done till it's done, of course. With his team playing tomorrow, as Wilf just said, out of respect, any announcement likely to be after that. But Brian, we were also pretty sure this time last week that Steven Gerrard would be the next Rangers manager, but this seems a little more concrete.
Yes, I think this time last week we were all on the Gerrard bus, weren't we? Because that all looked a bit done at that time, but now we're getting told this is also all but done. But as Wilf has correctly said, until he's at Ibrox with a scarf over his head, nothing is done. So yes, I'm keeping my powder dry, like most folk will, until I do see him at Ibrox with the scarf over his head. And until then, I'm saying nothing because we've lived through this before. Not only within the last week, we've had this situation where we've allegedly been having a manager incoming and then it hasn't happened. So yes, I think we've all just got to calm down, just take a chill pill until the picks come out. But yeah, it looks like it.
I mean, that's the one thing that we've learned, Mark, in it as Rangers supporters is we really can't get ahead of ourselves.
Yes, a little bit of patience is required, I think, from everybody, but I think we'll get there. I'm looking forward to, hopefully, touchwood, it is Muscat that comes in, so I'm looking forward to that. But don't count your chickens until they're in, basically.
Don't what your chickens?
Don't count your chickens until they're in, mate.
Thank God you said count. I
What
don't
did
know.
you think I said?
See, I don't know. I've got new speakers, so I'm not using earphones anymore. So sometimes it's hard to discern what people are saying. Well, we'll come back to Muscat in a wee second, but your thoughts then on Stevie Smith, the current under-19s manager, being in the dugout for Saturday. We've had 2 weeks to get this appointment, and we'll also come to when does the new manager, if it is to be Muscat, actually start. Hopefully, if the announcement's made, Rangers make that very clear from the beginning. But your thoughts on Stevie Smith being in the dugout for a game against a team, although it's not difficult right now, who's above us in the league, have had a much better start to the season than us, and it certainly won't be easy.
No, certainly won't be easy, but I mean, Stevie Smith, on the plus side, knows the players know Stevie Smith. He's been taking training since the ones that went away on international duty came back last Wednesday. That surprised me that they were back after just 2 days off after the Falkirk game. I did expect that they probably get a few more days off than that, but Stevie Smith's had them, the players that weren't away, certainly for the best part of 10 days. And the thing that's interesting is that as under-19s coach, his remit was to train the under-19s and the 17s and whatever else he was looking after in the style of the first team. But there wasn't anybody to tell him what the style of the first team was. So we've got absolutely no idea how they're going to line up on Saturday, what they're going to do. But he'll know the players. The players will know him. And I'm just hoping he says to them, look, guys, you can play this game. There's the formation. Just go out and play football. Because if they go out and play football, if it's not micromanaged, and he's not had time to micromanage them, let's be honest. I actually hope he spent the last week training out with them some of the stuff that Russell Martin trained into them. Because he trains, he seems to overcoached them to a certain degree. So we need rid of some of that. I'm just hoping that Stevie Smith says, look, guys, just go out there. I'm only here for a game, because it was noticeable in the statement the Rangers put out, the tweet the Rangers put out. It was only they're in the dugout for Saturday. There was no mention of any other games after that, which makes me think somebody will come in, for the game next week in Norway, which is a hell of a baptism for whoever gets that. But no, the good thing is he knows the players know him, and hopefully they trust him enough, to not let him down. Because let's be honest, they're fighting for their own futures, because they'll be aware of it as well, that it's possibly by the time the game comes on Saturday, you'd like to think that Muscat's been announced, right? Because we are only waiting till Shanghai play tomorrow. It'll get announced tomorrow, so that's clearly before the game on Saturday. So let's be honest, these guys are playing for the future, because they'll know that the incoming manager and coaching staff will be watching. And if it is announced the way it's rumoured to be that Neil McCann's coming in as well, he'll either be keeping a very close eye on it from close by, or he'll be in the stadium. I'd like to think he'll be in the stadium, but that might take away from the job Stevie Smith's doing.
I am reliably informed, and I hate using that term, right? Because for people who watch regularly will know that I consistently tell people that I know nothing and that I don't have that many sources. The one or two sources I've got, one of them has reliably informed me that if it is Muscat that comes in, it will 100% be Neil McCann who comes in with him. So all the rumours flying about Neil McCann are true. It will 100% be Neil McCann. There's no pressure, Brian, on Stephen Smith at the weekend, is there, surely?
No, I think he's, as Wolf has just said, he's got a nice chance to come in and basically tell the players just to have free rein and go and enjoy the football. I mean, let's be honest, let any player that's tried to enjoy their football this season is a liar. There's not one player in that squad that can turn around and say they've enjoyed any minute of this season's football. So I would like to think that Stephen Smith will come in and give as Wolf says, he's trying get out some of the coaching out of them that Russell Martin put into them, but that could take a while. There's a few of them might have PTSD with all the stuff that he was trying to put into them. So I would like to think that Stephen Smith will give them free rein, just to set them up a certain way and just say, go and enjoy your football, express yourselves, go and do damage where you should. So if you're a winger, go and attack the fullbacks, get crosses in. If you're a striker, get into the middle, be waiting for crosses. If you're a midfielder, back up strikers. Just go and enjoy your football. Do what you do best. As Vic says, we're all on the Muscat headlock army. I think we'll more likely be on the Muscat two-footed army, because Muscat liked a two-footed tackle. So, but no, it's just nice that this saga has finally ended, because let's be honest, this has been a terrible saga from our side as a club. This has been handled so badly. It's been atrocious as far as I'm concerned. And I would like to think the board as a whole are going to look at this whole situation, this whole debacle, and just surely can't get things like this as bad in the future ever again.
Can I just ask, who's Doug's in the background going absolutely mental?
Don't start.
Oh, is it coming for you, Brian?
Yes, it's me, yes.
Is it
Hence why I go and mute every time I don't speak. Not my dog.
I know you had a dog, Brian.
No, he does do, apparently.
No, I don't. Believe me, I don't. And I'm not in the, as I've said before, I am not in the Yellowstone National Park either. So
No, that's mental. That dog's got absolutely half. It's nuts. Sorry, Wolf. I can tell by your facial expressions that you wanted to come in on that.
Yeah, sorry. Before you go to Mark, just on the Stevie Smith thing, I've watched a couple of under 19s games in the KDM Trophy or the Petrofac Cup this season,
Yes.
and when it's the under 19s team, which really has been the 17s and 18s, because most of the decent 19s are away on loan, or the games I've been to have been on international weekends, so they're away playing international. So it's really been scratch teams, and they've actually played really, really well. I mean, they played Queen of the South off the park, they just couldn't score. In the break in September, we got beat because the goalkeeper dropped a clanger, and then we lost another soft goal. But we actually outplayed Queen of the South's first team, which, you know, if you can get our guys playing similar sort of football, I've got no fear for Saturday at all.
Yeah, but don't forget, Wolf, the under 19s and under 17s are supposed to play exactly the same way as the first team. They're supposed to set up the same way and do the same things. So
Yeah, but
Stevie Smith's technically been playing with Russell Martin's tactics.
But at least he's had them playing for each other, playing like a team. That's my point. The point is they were playing like as a team, irrespective of what the formation was, what the tactics were. They actually looked like a football team. They knew what they were doing. He wasn't standing there saying you need to move 2 inches because you're in the wrong place. All that sort of stuff.
Maybe they were just better players, Wolf.
There is that. Yeah, there is
that. I mean, Mark Jackson's saying fans on other pods today claiming pressure will be huge for Smith. That pressure comes from the fans. I'm sorry, I just maybe they're right, but I can't get on board. I can't agree with that.
No, I don't think so. Not for one. If it's one game, like it's rumoured to be that he's going to be in charge, I don't see it. He might have a bit of personal pressure for himself because he wants, obviously, to win, but I don't see it being any sort of crushing pressure for a single game. It's 90 minutes. I think he'll be fine. Just send him out, keep it simple, go and play football, do what you need to do, and then get the win. So I don't think it's going to be a high pressure for him specifically for one single game. Do you know what I mean? I just don't see it.
No, I really can't see it either. Lyndon, Rabble people love messing up a metaphor or an analogy. That's what we're known for, completely getting it wrong. But what's even more concerning to me is how Lyndon got a membership. That's quite worrying. The fact that Lyndon's got a membership. I thought hell would freeze over before Lyndon got a channel membership. What I will say to folks watching just now is if you enjoy the content, please do leave a like. Please make sure that you are subscribed. And if you want to help out the show, help out independent Rangers media a little bit more, then you can become a member now. Links are in the description. For all the live stuff, it's on YouTube, and then it's uploaded onto the Patreon, which is obviously memberships as well. If you prefer just to listen to your shows while you're out and about, then you can sign up to our Patreon. It really does help. We are well on the way to 500 members, which is absolutely incredible. So I hope you enjoy all the extra content as well, and thank you for the support. Beep Bop Boop, another big supporter of the channel. Thank you very much, Beep, for the super chat. Wolf, I will take this to you. As someone who's followed Kevin Muscat for nearly 20 years, I don't think fans understand just how incredible this man is. And then a big, massive statement at the end there, Wolf. He is Walter's heir.
That's a huge statement. If he's half as good as Walter Smith was, then he'll do for me. That sounds a bit stalkerish from Beep Bop Boop that he's followed Kevin Muscat for nearly 20 years. If he's followed Kevin Muscat's career for nearly 20 years, then okay, I'll give him that.
Well, what it does mean is he's been quite a few countries.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he must have his passport must have one or two stamps in it, because he has. I mean, Kevin Muscat has been around a bit, but he's been a success everywhere he's been as a manager or a head coach or whatever his position has to be. You know, so he has been a success. If he's half as good as the late great Sir Walter Smith was, then he'll certainly do really well for us. I mean, there was a thing that I never noticed that was somebody put in the group chat earlier, or maybe seen it next. I think it was in the group chat that Ange Postecoglou was apparently on Sky Sports News, and obviously Muscat was Postecoglou's his assistant manager at one of these clubs he was at, and he wished Celtic good luck facing a Kevin Muscat Rangers because they're going to need it. So, I mean, he was maybe been flippant and sticking up for his pal, but I know that'll not get down well in the East End. But look, Postecoglou's proved he can do it up here. If he thinks Kevin Muscat can do it up here, then, and Beat Bop obviously knows more about Kevin Muscat as a coach than I do. So,
well, he's followed him everywhere.
Exactly. So, I'd like to know from Beat Bop if Shanghai are going to win their game tomorrow, so we can maybe jump on it early and get a decent price for the bookie.
Yeah, and Duke Donald, the whiskey drinker, has been a member for 13 months now, which, for those of you who aren't good with that sort of stuff, that's a year and a month. So there you go. Muscat's blue and white army. It would appear, Brian, so we'll go back to Kevin Muscat. In fact, I want to go to something, I think it was Wolf that said it, and it's actually, unlike him, it's a very good point, Brian, right? We're saying we don't think there's any pressure on Stevie Smith at the weekend, right? He's only in for one game, hopefully, and then he'll go back to the under-19s. A lot of pressure on the players, though. They are literally playing for the future now.
Yes. Just to go back quickly, his team is playing the second bottom in the Chinese league tomorrow. So you would like to think that his team will win that game tomorrow. So,
Brian, unfortunately, the team that are chasing him for the title are playing the team fourth bottom, which is unfortunate.
Oh, that's unfortunate. So, but yeah, at least his team should win. But yeah, going back to Stevie Smith, yeah, I mean, the players are. I mean, there's a couple of them came off a good international break. I mean, Bajrami scored for Albania. Chermiti actually scored, believe it or not. I mean,
by the way, Brian, I want it known that it was against the European giants of Gibraltar. So,
yes,
what kind of Chermiti are we getting back?
Well, this could be Lionel Messi-esque, if you know what I mean, or Ronaldo. You know what I mean? Goodness knows what Chermiti we're getting back. But no, fair play to lad. You've still got to score the goals, no matter who you're up against. So you're only as good as what's in front of you. So he scored a goal. So hopefully he's coming back with a little bit of confidence as well. Razkin was doing the business for Belgium in midweek as well. So, there's a couple of them came off a good international break, and as JD's saying, Mikey Moore hat trick. So there's a few of them coming off a good international break. So I would like to think there's a good handful of them coming back with a bit of a bounce. Saying right, I'm playing well, I'm wanting to play. Mikey Moore scoring a hat trick. You'd like to think, he's buzzing to even get near starting. So yeah, there's one or two of them that are coming back and looking forward to playing. I would like to think, and as you say, they're under a bit of pressure because they realise now that the microscope's going to be on them with the possible incoming new manager. He'll be watching them like a hawk. If Neil McCann is rumoured to be in the backroom staff, then Neil McCann will be reporting back to him and telling them how things are going. So the players better respond, because I would like to be on the receiving end of one of Kevin Muscat's hair dryers. If he's half as,
and he doesn't even need one.
No, I don't think he does need one. But if he has anything like a Fergie one, they better watch out, because Muscat will go through them. He'll probably 2-foot them in the dressing room just to prove a point. So yeah, they better watch themselves.
The views of individual contributors on the Rabble do not necessarily represent the views of the Rangers Rabble. Sorry, Will.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Brian, what you say is probably right, because he is quite a fearsome character. But unfortunately, these days you can't give players the dreaded hairdryer treatment, because they'll just run off to their agents and say, go and see HR because I want out of here, because they're not allowed to speak to me like that. Because too many of the players now are cosseted from a very young age, so they can't. I get the analogy, I get your point, but you can't go through players like that.
Yes and no.
Just to be clear, I was being a bit flippant.
Yes. The views of Brian certainly do not represent the views of the Rangers Rabble. Yes. Vix, we'll just go back to Stephen Smith for a second, Mark. Vix, a channel member and a massive supporter of the channel. Thank you, Vix. Stephen Smith will get a win, will live up to the Smith name and become God for the day. I'll take that. Mark.
Yeah, well, yes, I would take that. That'd be the ideal. 3 points in the bag, and then hopefully get Muscat. I want him in as soon as possible, but I know there's talk of a few, like the end of November, I think it's looking at.
22nd.
That's ridiculous. I can't see us waiting that long, but I want him in as quick as possible, get the deal signed, get him over and get him started and in the job. But obviously that's deals to be worked out. So, but no, I think Stevie Smith will do fine. He's just got to send the lads out, like I said earlier, get them to basic, play a bit of football, get the win, get the 3 points, and then move on from there and let Neil McCann take charge. If that's going to be the route we're going down until we can get Muscat in sooner rather than later, hopefully. But we'll have to just wait on that.
I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that in a wee second. Sorry, Brian, on you.
So we're saying the 22nd of November's when he's. Well, that's his first game.
That's the last league game in China that he's got. That is the last league game.
Well, we play Livingston at home on the 22nd of November, so that'll be the 8th game since, if he gets announced soon, that there's 8 games between now and when he comes in, which will be his first game will potentially be Braga at home in the Europa League on the 27th of November.
Well, that's assuming, of course, Brian, that one, it is Kevin Muscat, but you don't know that for certain yet, and if it is that he's seen out the season at Shanghai.
Right. Also, you're jumping ahead. I've got all this lined up to ask you, and you're taking my agenda, and you've ruined it.
I'd like to think that if the deal is he's coming in when the league's won, I'd like to think if they win the league before that, he just says, "Well, I'm not staying for the last game," because I believe there's about a 3-week gap between the second last game and the last game. So hopefully,
the second last game of this is it the 30th of this month?
31st, I think, is it? 30th, 31st.
Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, the 2 points cleared just now. So hopefully, the team chasing them can slip up. They can win their next 3 games, and then that's them champions. And he doesn't need to sit about Shanghai for 3 weeks, waiting for a game that is basically a dead rubber. He'll have won them the title. Hopefully, then he can come. But we're assuming that that's what's happening. I mean, I want him. If it is going to be Kevin Muscat, I want him to be here, and I want him to be here right now. But I admire his loyalty to the club he's with.
Halloween's his second last game, and then his next game is the 22nd of November.
So there must be an international break for the Chinese or whatever back, down at that sort of time for that much of a gap.
Well, to be fair, the 4th of November, his team's playing in the AFC Champions League.
Yeah. There's Champions League games in between, so that's why. So
Asian Federation's Champions League.
Yeah.
Okay, so that throws another spanner in the works. But again, we're guessing because we don't know until Rangers come out and tell us something. Other than telling us that Stephen Smith's in a dugout on Saturday, they've told us absolutely nothing for the last 2 weeks.
See, if you had let me do my agenda, then all of that would have made sense. You didn't let me do my agenda. No, it's the Wolf and Brian show tonight.
Well, normally you don't have an agenda, so we've kind of had to sort of.
I don't actually have one written down, but I've got it in my head, Brian.
See, you're full of rubbish. Rubbish.
I'm really, really not. I just want to say a massive thank you to Hoggy, who has gifted 10 Rangers Rabble memberships. So well done to Combat Sports on Tour, Nevitz, Callum C, Blazing Blue, Foxy Lad, no, he was already a member, Kevin Bett, Linda, it's just jumped, Linda Williamson, Willie RFC, James Carlin King, sorry, not Caitlin, that's my niece's name, cousin's name, Ian White, Swarg79, and I believe that's it. So well done to all the guys for getting a gifted membership. Before we come to discuss what might happen if Muscat gets the job, right? Before we come to discuss what might happen there, Wolf and Brian, I want to have a wee quick discussion, Wolf, about the route that the board and the owners have went. I see it. The route that the owners and board have went to come to this decision. It's been farcical, Wolf. Let's be honest.
It's been absolutely farcical. I don't want to use up any of your 3 swear words, so I'll desist from that. But it's been. I mean, we've known Russell Martin lasted 123 days, right? We've known since probably day 58 or 59 that he wasn't long for the Rangers manager's job or Rangers head coach's job because it just wasn't working, right? As soon as the final whistle went in Bruges, that should have been enough, right? And it obviously wasn't enough to push him over the precipice, but it should have been enough for Fairwell, Stewart, and anybody else that that was looking about at that time, because that's before Kavanagh and Marathi came in and said, look, we're taking charge of this. To start looking about saying, look, it's only a matter of time. The sword of Damocles is above his head. It's going to be falling very, very soon. So, we need to start looking about. Now, I was of the opinion, and I said it on here, that they were going to try and limp through to the international break. And irrespective of what happened at Falkirk, I think he was away. Even if we beat Falkirk, I think he was going. And I was thinking, they've had all this time to look about. They'll have somebody waiting in the wings, and they'll get rid of him on the Sunday or the Monday, and the Tuesday or the Wednesday, they'll announce a new manager, and here we go again. But no, they didn't. They stumbled and stumbled and stumbled. It became very apparent that Steven Gerrard was apparently getting the job. For whatever reason, he turned it down. They then spoke to other people who turned it down, and were 11 days into an international break, where we thought we were going to have a manager in for 10 days. We've got nothing. We've got 19's coach in the dugout on Saturday. It's an absolute farce. A complete and utter. They've handled it completely badly. I mean, it's been this since Kavanagh and Marath came in. It's been one disaster after another. It really has. It's been an absolute shambles since they came in. And the fact that they went on record to say we're taking charge of this recruitment process from when Russell Martin got jettisoned, that's 10 days they've had.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the fact that they felt necessary to basically do the chief executive's job for him, the chief executive shouldn't still have a job, because they've come in, basically said to him, you go and sit in the corner, we'll do your job for you. Because it's the chief executive's job to do the employment process and to say to the director and the directors and the chairman and the vice chairman, look, this is who we've got, this is who we've identified. If it doesn't work, it's on us. They say, right, okay, rubber stamp it, and he goes. But they've decided they're taking over from that. So I don't understand why the chief executive certainly isn't still on a job, and I'm a wee bit surprised that the sporting director's still on his.
Listen, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. We have a new member who has signed up, and Brian, I'm going to get you to pronounce the name. So welcome, brand new member to the Rangers Rabble supporters tier. It's a podcast, Brian. We don't like dead air. You're on mute as well. Come on, Brian, pronounce it. Hurry up, you're making us look bad.
I can't even read that.
Mark, you want to take a shot?
What?
Voyuti? Is it
Yeah.
Voyuti?
Voit.
Yeah. See, folks, you just don't get this kind of professionalism anywhere else. You don't get it anywhere else.
However,
I might have got it. It was one T, but it was the three T's or four T's that was knackering me.
However you pronounce that, can a new member put another thing in the comments and give us it phonetically so we know how to actually pronounce it?
Yes.
That would be helpful. That would be helpful.
That's me just learned what phonetically means. So I'm happy with that. I've learned something new today. I really have.
Mark, being a military man, would know what phonetically means.
Every day's a school day, Martin. Yes.
Void. It is void. So
It is void. There we go.
Void. Maybe that's the French spelling. I don't know. To be fair to Voight, he's literally just put in the comments phonetically. So there we go. So yeah, I mean, Brian, look, we had a week of Stevie Gerrard links. The board seemed to spend the best part of a week on him. Then we had the Danny Role situation where he was interviewed. They were told they were going to get back to him for a certain time and basically just blanked him, which is a terrible look for any football club. Let's be completely honest. It's a shocking look for any football club. And now if we go with the premise that it is going to be Muscat, because that's what these aren't just rumours anymore. This came from the football club, because fan media and media don't get a hold of stuff like this if it's not came from the football club. Now we might be in a position where we're bringing a manager in, and we don't know what's going to happen if the hold up might have been, look, we want you now, Kevin. We want you in the door now. Kevin's saying, well, I'm about to win a league and I'm still in, as you guys have said, a Champions League. So we could be in a position where we've got Kevin's assistant or one of Kevin's coaches in charge for the best part of 30 days, 25 days? Probably a little bit more than that.
Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? I think the problem you've got is it's just unfortunately where the Chinese league is right now. It's right into the deep end of the season, and his team are good for him, but unfortunate for us that they're right in the thick of it, and they're leading the league. And I think selfishly we all want him just to pack his bags and come to us straight away. But I think when you look at it, he's actually showing a bit of dignity and a bit of loyalty to his team staying there and like trying to win the league. So you've got to admire him in that respect. But I think selfishly we all want him just to pack his bags and come straight away. But it's difficult when you're in the heat of the battle, and he's got 4 games left and he's trying to win a league. It's extremely difficult to leave a situation like that. So I admire him for that. He's turned around to he's been brave enough to turn around to Rangers and say, look, I'm in the middle of a league campaign. I'm at the potentially just about to win it. I can't just abandon ship now. So in some respects you've got to admire him in that regard. So I'm afraid this is, ever since the Gerrard news went sideways, I think this was potentially always going to happen with Muscat. I think, because his team were always up there in the league, competing and high up the league. So I think if we were going down the Muscat line, I think this was always going to be a scenario where we'd have to get a interim in until he was available, or till he won the league, or whenever it may be. So I'm afraid this is a pill we're going to have to swallow, I'm afraid.
It probably is, Mark. But as I said in the show with David last night, I don't know if it's just me being the old-fashioned guy that I am, and the super chat in for James Cameron. Cancel your day tomorrow, Martin. Announcement will be tomorrow, which is all well and good, Mark. But if the announcement comes tomorrow and it comes with, and by the way, James, thank you for the support, my friend. And the announcement comes with, we're appointing Russell Martin. Don't make that mistake. We're appointing, he's stuck in my brain, you see. We're appointing Kevin Muscat, and it comes out tomorrow, but he won't be here until mid-November. I don't like that, Mark.
No, I don't like it either. I think it'll bust the bubble with some fans straight away if that's the announcement that he's in. But here's Neil McCann to fill in until he gets here at the end of November. So I'm not keen on that myself. I think I'm hopeful he's going to come in. He gets announced and he'll come in. It's Rangers. I mean, obviously, winning the league in China is great and that, but I think he would rather start at Rangers and come in as soon as he's announced. So I'm hoping to see him at the stadium announced and good to go as soon as possible. But I wouldn't be too happy waiting 3-4 weeks or whatever it is to get him in. That seems a bit excessive to me, especially when we need to manage him now and there's everything to play for still. So
yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me. You're going to be waiting until the league could be gone. We could boot the League Cup, and I know you've got the Scottish Cup left. So I think it doesn't make sense to me to make that deal and make us wait till the end of November. So I can see him being announced and he's actually going to come in imminently. I don't think he's going to hang around. He'll probably get that game tomorrow, be announced, and then he should be in for the next game on Thursday, is it? Or maybe the next league game. So maybe a week or so, possibly at the most, but I cannot see us waiting a month plus for him to come in.
Can I just, is that my face on Nicola Sturgeon's
It is. Yes. Delightful.
Do you not think I make quite enough? No, don't go there, Martin.
Don't say that.
Don't say it. Don't say it. It's live, I was going to say something else, but I don't want to say it because we're live and you can't take it back. Paul Robertson as well, channel member, Wolf. Massive support, always phones in the morning rabble as well. Martin, word is Muscat not coming until next month. The fact of the matter is, well, sitting here right now, we don't know. We don't even know if Muscat's going to get the job, but that is the heavy rumours. But what's your take on the whole, well, if he does get the job, he sees out his time over in China?
As I said earlier on, I want him in. If he is announced, I want him in tomorrow. I want him in straight away right now. However, if he does want to stay loyal to Shanghai, that's admirable, because, we wouldn't want somebody to walk away from us. I mean, we were discussing it on the group chat this morning, and my response was, I hope the Shanghai owner's a bit like Sir David Murray. When Souness said to Murray, look, I'm staying at the end of the season, he went, I just go now. I'm hoping the guy that owns Shanghai says, Kevin, look, we appreciate your loyalty, but just go. I mean, you've got a big job there, just go and do it. But Shanghai will be giving the monkeys about Rangers. Let's be honest, all they want to do is win the title. It's that if he does want to see it out, it's admirable. It's not a good look for us. It really isn't a good look for us, particularly because we've had so long to get it sorted out. We should really have been bringing Kevin Muscat in the summer if we're bringing him in now. He should have been in instead of Russell Martin. I mean, that was a huge mistake by Thirlwell and Stewart. Not to batter them again, but I think, I mean, if he doesn't come in, let's be honest, it's 2025. There's no reason that he can't be orchestrating things from afar with the use of mediums like this, videos. And I don't mean coming on the Rabble and doing it. I mean, or other points. He's more than welcome. Really, yeah. But there'll be a big screen in the changing room at the training centre. If there isn't, they'll put one in, and he can get his message across. That's a lot of pressure on him though, because he'd be basically trying to sort out two teams at the same time. Mm-hmm. And with the time difference, I wouldn't imagine he'll get a lot of sleep. But it is achievable. He can get his message across. Have Neil McCann doing his bidding for him. But I would much rather that Kevin Muscat was here, his boots were on the ground in Scotland.
And again, and I want to keep using the term if, Brian, because I get caught out with the Gerrard stuff. I was 100% believed that was him coming back in, as most of us did. I fell for it, and then it broke down last minute. It won't bother Muscat, will it, that he wasn't first choice again?
Well, he's maybe been sort of caught up in his own little world, in the Chinese Super League. He's maybe been so concentrated in that if somebody came to him and offered the job, then he would speak about it. But until that moment happened, he probably wasn't giving it much thought, to be honest. He was probably too wrapped up in his own little world. So he might be aware. He'll obviously be aware that we've offered the job to Gerrard and before him. Again, before Muscat's been in this situation before, hasn't he? Because a lot of guys wanted him when it was the Clement appointment. So there was shouts for Muscat way back then. So it's maybe just been again timing issue. That phrase that's been coming out recently, the timing just wasn't right. Muscat maybe now feels that he's done Australia. I believe he's done Japan and now China. So he's maybe now thinking that
Beep, he'll know.
Sorry?
Ask Beep, he knows.
Yeah, Beep, Bop, Boop. So maybe he's now thinking that he's completed Asia as far as the football sort of leagues out there. He's done the major leagues out there, so he's looking for something else. I mean, our own Stephen Robertson in the morning, as you know, Martin, he's not very, very... Not a fan of Muscat at all, and he's a countryman, so he should know. So, I think, it's worth sort of, taking Stephen's opinion on board as well, because he sees him firsthand. He'll have seen him out in Australia and the Japanese league and the Chinese league, so he'll have seen him at close quarters. So he wasn't very complimentary about him, was he?
No,
Martin, seeing as Stephen and Beat Bop are at different ends of the Muscat spectrum, can we have a live rabble wrestling with the two of them just to decide which one's right?
Well, we'll find out which one's right if Muscat gets a job in about a month's time. 2 months' time, we'll find out who's right. I will just say, a few people are asking, and I want to finish up on a question about Raskin that somebody's brought in, Mark, right? So just get yourself psyched up for a question about Raskin. People were asking about the afternoon rabble, and because of the rumours that were floating about, I put it off until this time, just in case. Because what I didn't want to do was put on an afternoon rabble and then it be outdated in an hour's time because we've got a manager in. So the same will happen tomorrow. There will be no 12:30 afternoon rabble tomorrow because the strong rumours that we're getting is that Kevin Muscat's going to be announced tomorrow. So I'm not going to do a show unless, of course, he's been announced by then, in which case there will be. And I'm just putting that out there, right? You don't need to tell me. So there will be no afternoon rabble tomorrow. And we'll come to you either again at 5:00 or as soon as we get any news from Rangers. So just so everybody knows. Just finishing up on this, Mark, I don't think it's the last time we're going to talk about it. It certainly isn't the first time that we've spoke about it. But it's a question in for Kyle. Do you guys reckon Raskin will stay with us long term? I have my doubts, to be honest, especially with Spurs being interested. With a new manager coming in, I suppose a better question than that, maybe, no offence, Kyle, but maybe a better question is, will Muscat be able to convince him to sign a new deal? Because I think that's what we need. Because let's be honest, Raskin doesn't want to be here long term.
Aye, I think that's a difficult one, given that I think there was offers on the table in the summer and he hasn't signed anything, and then he's gone into the last 2 years or 18 months of his deal. So he's either going to be looking to get away in the winter or next summer for a cut price than what we would get. I don't think he's going to sign a new contract. I don't think he's going to leave for free, but I think he's not going to sign a new contract because I think he does want to move on, and especially with the performances for Belgium. And then if the World Cup as well, I don't think he's going to stay. I can't see him signing even a 1 year extension to give us that little buffer to get the money that we probably deserve from him for the work that's been put in to get him to the standard that he's at now. But as long as he's in the team and he's contributing, that's what I want to see, is him put in his normal best position and get him playing for the team and then get as much out of him as possible until hopefully we do get a bit of money for him in the summer. Ideally, don't let him go in the winter.
Not much.
Yeah, well, he'll have how long left in the summer? A year?
A year.
So you're probably, 10 million max?
You'll be lucky. You'll be lucky.
A year left?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know. I would probably... But
It depends, Mark, on the interest. If there's loads of clubs interested, then of course that bumps your price up regardless of how long's left on the deal. If there's only maybe one or two clubs, I think you're losing out on over half his value with a year left.
I think there will be interest with more than one or two teams because he's, like you say, he's a Belgian international and he's actually doing well for Belgium and he's being picked out as one of the top performers for Belgium. So that'll pique the interest of a few teams down south abroad that might want to bring out the checkbook and get him in. So we could maybe see 10 million for him, possibly. Depending if he goes in the winter, it might be a little bit more because you're trying to replace a player in the winter window. So it's all, like you say, it's all interest. I would prefer he stays and signs a new contract and then we can get top dollar from him, but I just don't see it myself personally.
Could Rangers, Wolf, not try and just convince him to take an extra year? Just say to him, look, we'll sell you. And agree and this is what, this does happen behind closed doors. If the club goes to Nico, and I hope that Russell Martin hasn't completely ruined it for us, right? But if the club go to Nico and go, can you just sign a year's extension and this is the fee that we'll agree if somebody comes in, we'll sell you for. Would that not make business sense?
It would make business sense for Rangers, and it depends how open Raskin is to that. He seems to like it. You know what I mean? He certainly had the he certainly seemed to have the mindset that he could see out Russell Martin, and obviously he managed to do that, and he seems to be quite happy. He spoke after the Belgian game, was it last night or the night before, that he says, I don't know what's happening with the manager, we need to go back and see what's going on, but he seems to really, really like it at Rangers. So whether he would do it to, if you like, help us out or not, I don't know. As somebody said in the comments, it depends on what sort of World Cup he has. The Belgians love him, absolutely love him. And if Belgium have a good World Cup and he is a tremendous World Cup, 10 million is not beyond the realms of possibility, even with a year to go. But it would be nice if we could get him to sign an extension. And as you say, put a clause in it saying, look, 15 million, just to pluck a figure out there, 15 million, and we won't stand in your way. You can go the first team you fancy that comes in with that kind of money. Then that's fine. It helps everybody out. But let's be honest, these days players' agents are more interested in looking after the players than looking after the clubs they play for. So the reality is, don't really. From our point of view, yes, it would be nice, but from Raskin's point of view, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
It really doesn't. And Brian, I'll give you the final word on this if you want, because everybody in the comments is really rooting for you to talk.
I would like a year's extension with the promise of selling them after the World Cup. I would like that. If the problem you've got is he'll be coming off a World Cup, he'll be into under 12 months with his contract to go. That is the last chance saloon to get any form of decent money for him. That is, January. That is a hazardous time to sell or buy anyone So you don't want to do that. But if you do get to the summer where he's still only got a year left, then that's worrying, and you're then getting into the sort of depths of Morelos and Kent sort of territory where you're feeding a year to go. He'll see it out and then leave in a freeze. So yeah, I'm really not wanting that to happen. I'd like him to do what you said, sign a year and promise him X amount of money.
Minimum fee release clause on it. Just put that on it. Just say to him, that's the way we want to go. All right. Well, apologies, Brian, for not getting to speak enough.
Before you go, you in it because you said that was going to be the last point. You inadvertently threw a good segue at us when you started speaking about Nico Raskin and mentioned Tottenham Hotspur, right? Because there is a connection between Spurs and our supposed new manager, one of his backroom team.
Well, you've got me there, Wolf.
Right. Okay. So I did a little bit of digging when I knew I was coming on this at 5 o'clock to see I think Brian knows exactly where I'm going with this. Have you had a look at who the coaches are at Shanghai?
No, I haven't actually. No, I was nodding my head to something else, but no, okay, I haven't looked.
Okay, so he's got Rosa Luisi and Vincenzo Lerado as his coaches, right? But Brian, starter for 10, who's his goalkeeper coach? Former Spurs goalkeeper.
Brad Friedel?
Nope.
Oh,
say that. Where did he play?
Coach formerly of Tottenham Hotspur, Oxford, Ipswich, Leicester, and Bolton Wanderers.
You say Jaskalainen?
Former England international.
No.
Ian Walker, the very same, is the goalkeeping coach at Shanghai. So would he look to bring him in and get rid of Sal Bibbo, who's in the dugout with Stevie Smith on Saturday? Or does he keep Sal Bibbo and stop working with Ian Walker? It's an interesting one. Just when you mentioned Spurs, I thought it was a nice wee segue to Ian Walker, who is currently on the coaching staff of Shanghai with our prospective new manager.
Well, we shall probably find out tomorrow, I would say. And that is why there will be, like I say, unless there is an announcement made early on, there will be no afternoon rabble tomorrow. We still get the morning rabble for members. And we still have the Friday night show tomorrow night as well at 7 p.m. for channel members as well. Tonight, by the way, for CEO and above members, you've got the Extreme Gaming podcast. That'll be out tonight at 9 p.m. And we'll have a special show on tomorrow night as soon as there's any announcement. And if there is no announcement, we'll be back at 5 p.m. Look at the way my dog's staring at me. Like that, right? I've heard you say 3 times now that you're nearly finished. But anyway, there we go. Well, Brian, Mark, thank you very much. Apologies, Brian, that you only got about 70% of the show to talk. But next time I'll make it longer because the comments just absolutely adore you. Thank you very much to everybody in the comments for all the super chats you've put in, for all the people, for Hoggy for gifting all those memberships. That's incredible, my friend. Thank you. And for all the new members that we've got, we're sailing towards 500, which is absolutely incredible. I'll be back tomorrow morning for the morning rabble. We'll be back tomorrow at some point, maybe for a breaking news show, possibly for a breaking news show, I think. Maybe, possibly, maybe. So until then, folks, take care of yourself. And what are you shaking your head at?
I'm just laughing because I've tried to get Gallant his hour and he's been panning me that much. I'm just shutting up now, so he's not getting his hour.
Aye. I mean, the dog's not allowing me the hour either. The dog's like that, right? I need to go out now, so I need to go and take it.
Neither's Brian's neighbour's dog.
No, Brian's neighbour's dog. No, he's not having any of it. If I could just ask before you all jump out and leave us, if you're watching on YouTube, please do give the show a like and make sure that you are subscribed. We've just recently passed 16,000 subscribers as well, so now we want to move towards 17,000. And Gallant, I promise the next time Brian is on, I will let him speak. And of course, if you want to help out further and you want access to loads and loads and loads of extra content, then you can become a member now. So go and enjoy the rest of your Thursday, folks, and we shall all speak very, very soon.